Yeah, that burning optical calories, watching the water, like that's the biggest part of watercraft.
Yeah,
and it's the hardest it's ever been now because of bloody phones.
58 common. It was in the retainer.
Yeah.
Waiting for a picture and put it back out. It went again. Long story short, it was Eric's common at £86.
30 leads go fucking all around the lake, and then fish go, fuck this.
Guys, welcome back to the Always Carp Fishing podcast. Harry is on holiday. Chili is out on the bank somewhere. I think he's at Horseshoe. So in the studio, I have Lewis Porter, Scotty Day, and we are joined once again by Shaun McSpadden. We get into a big topic that is watercraft. We proper pick the guys' brains of their own findings over the years, stuff that you can put into your own angling and take to the bank, which will hopefully catch you more carp. And when we get into sort of topics that contain 80-pound commons as results, and it's definitely worth listening to. Hope you enjoy this one. We all happy?
So he was how old?
You happy, Dil?
Yeah, we're all good.
It would have been hatched in the lake in the early 70s.
Okay.
So
56 years old
yeah,
now.
yeah. That's it. I'd say I've got a wicked story. I don't know if I should say. I'm going to say it because you guys probably would have heard of him being northerners yourself. But there was the guy who stocked most of the meres in Shropshire was a guy called Ray Stone, bless him, and his brother. This would have been back in the early 70s, and they did it on a moped.
Oh, this was happening in Cheshire as well.
Yeah, well, most of the fish in Shropshire were known as the Isle strain fish. There's a big water called the Isle. They were taking out fish, the little tiny net in it and whatever, taking out the fry, hatching them, taking small fish, putting them into various meres around Shropshire. And we've still got the photograph of his diary stocked in 1972 of all the fish that went in. And you're talking hundreds of little mirrors and commons that he stocked. And he did this around everywhere, like Fenimere and Birch Grove and all that lot. And I was speaking to one of the guys yesterday, bless him, he's telling me a story about Ray. He was a hell of an angler. He's passed away now, bless him. But he said he was fishing one of the meres and he caught this fish. This would have been probably mid-80s now. Caught this fish. Pardon?
That's a big fish.
It is a big fish, mid-80s. Massive. Mini rainbow.
Must have had a sturdy scooter.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Right. Sorry, Dean.
No, right.
Yeah,
So he's caught this fish and he's like, it looks a good fish. No scales. So he puts it in his rucksack on his moped, goes up to the local pub a mile up the road, into the kitchens. You're right, lads, can you weigh this fish for me? I think it's a decent one. So he gets this fish out of the rucksack, puts it on the kitchen scales in the pub. It's like £33. Nice one. Cheers, boys. Back in the rucksack, back down the lake, and let it go again.
Yeah.
Different sort of time.
I think it was. I think John Carver talked about it on the Baitworks podcast about somebody going up the post office. I think near Redmire to weigh a fish in on the post office scales because they didn't have any scales.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's the dumb thing.
Different era. But no, Ray was an absolute legend up in Shropshire. He was responsible for a lot of fish being caught from him doing the work he did.
Sort of superseded by Rob Ailes now.
Probably. Yeah, I reckon so. Yeah, the baton's been passed over. Monumentally, definitely.
And he can do an mid-80.
Yeah, he can. Christ, that one that went into the avenue this week, that was a hell of a thing, wasn't it? Unbelievable. And all outside, everyone thinks they're sort of in the tanks. It's not a lot of them are outside.
All of them have been outdoor reared, the ones that have gone out the other day.
I just think it's brilliant for the sport.
Yeah, it is.
But, I think I've not seen Rob for a number of years, but when you think people only see the good stuff, don't they, on social media?
Yeah.
And
the bad stuff, you mean?
No, the good stuff. I mean, all the bad stuff in terms of, I'm sure there's been lots of money invested, lots of pain, lots of digging.
That's what I mean. They don't see the bad side of it. They're just seeing the good side of, like, there's a big fish. They don't understand what's gone into it.
They're quick to jump to opinions, but things have got to evolve. All this warm tank stuff and that. I'm all for it. I think it's inspiring personally. The bigger the better for me, and I think they should be given a lot of credit. The energy and the passion that goes into it, and the research. I just think.
And the money, mate. The amount of money he's thrown at that is.
I dread to think.
Off the scale.
It's the venues that he's opened. It's the access that he's given people to get to stuff.
And the security, the fence, the looked after. Fair play.
And if you don't like them, don't fish for them.
Exactly.
Simple as that.
Exactly.
I don't get why people get so
fair play to
crazy about it.
Yeah.
Might not necessarily be something I do, but don't make any difference, does it?
No.
Choose. It's giving people the option and the variety to choose what they want to do.
Exactly that. Lou, I was going to ask you, mate. You've put a bit of a mystic, cryptic message out this week on socials. What is this new adventure of yours? What are the targets? Are you going to share? Come on.
Yes.
Fuck, I never heard him so quiet.
I don't know. Fuck, as long as
What do I say or not?
As long as it's carp related, I'm not really interested in the pike story.
No, we're past pike season now.
I'll do.
Done that, completed it this winter.
Brilliant.
But no, you've been doing all right, to be fair. You've been getting out midweek, catching.
Yep.
But obviously someone else has took your
Doing these
fancy.
Quick midweek overnighters.
Yeah, so I'd said to myself that I'd only going to fish Green Acres until we get to our first 20-degree days into spring, because it's great on there. There's a lot of big fish and it's really nice, comfortable fishing. But there's two particular fish near my home that are very, very old, and I know you like your old ones.
I love my old ones, mate. Bit of Wayne Rooney and me, mate.
That I had fished for a few years ago, but I pulled off because there were some people fishing on there that I didn't want to be fishing the lake at the same time as them for various reasons. They've now gone, left. So I'd planned to go back this year. We had 20 degrees yesterday, I think, for the maybe the day before, down where I am for the first time. So yeah, I'm done with Green Acres for now. I'm going on the lake near home. The lake had a big fish kill last summer, so lost most of the fish. There's probably only 15 left in like 10 acres, so it's not going to be easy.
Right.
Far from it, but...
do you think those fish now will benefit, though, with the biomass and all that lot? Do you reckon that will come into play?
Don't really know, because I don't think...
Has anyone fished it?
There's one or two people having a go, but one of the two big ones definitely survived the fish kill because it got caught in the autumn. The other one hasn't been caught. And there's a few people that are like, until they know that one's in there, they're not fishing. So
if you catch it, you're not going to tell anyone?
I won't be saying anything if I catch that one first for a while, because I don't want it to get any busier than what it will be. I think there's a couple of people having a go, or started to have a go, but I went for my first walk round over the Easter weekend, and it looks good.
Fire.
Water's gin clear. The fish will be dark and beautiful.
Was there many on?
Nobody on.
Fishing? Nobody.
It was empty. That was on the Good Friday. Yeah, there's not a single soul on.
Oh my gosh, that's like heaven, that, doesn't it?
There won't be massive fish. There'll be 37 to maybe scrape a 40. Like, not in modern standards massive, but they're older than me.
Amazing.
Oh, be careful, Dean will be all over you.
Yeah.
Be sheepy. He's following you. Just going to follow, tag him.
So yeah, we'll see how
On his moped.
On my moped at the back of you.
But yeah, those fish have had a bit of a journey around in their past life as well. They've not always been in one lake. They've seen a few different islands and margins in their years, but hopefully where they are now will be their forever home, forever, however long they've got left. But yeah, it was tragic last year pulling all the fish out in the fish kill. We pulled nearly 30 carp out dead, plus pike and tench and perch and rudd and stuff. So yeah, I'd caught quite a lot of them. So now that the fish kills happened, there's a lot less repeats to go through. The two big ones that are left are two that I didn't catch. So it's kind of like
one's left, but the other might not be.
I think it will be there because we pulled everything out that was dead, and we didn't pull that one out.
To get everybody involved, they'll be there before it gets caught. You were trying to keep it on the lowdown.
Yeah.
You're just telling everybody he's still there.
They're both dead. I'm just going to go back there for the memories.
Yeah. Some lovely rudd.
Yeah, get the old whip out. Oh, fair play. Guys, I want to sort of bring it into today a topic that is quite hot, is watercraft. I know it's a big talking point. I want to get into what's it about. You hear a lot of the times people saying this angler has got an amazing watercraft. I want to tap into your findings over the years of what is it, how did you come about learning it, homing it over the seasons you've been fishing, and sort of recapturing moments that it played a part in you having a sort of you know, a euphoric moment sort of thing when you're angling. So I'll come to you, Luther, actually, on that, with the amount of fishing you're doing at the moment, bouncing around Peterborough and lakes. And
two nights a week isn't loads.
Full-timer, mate. But no, just on, obviously, what you've been doing this spring has been fantastic. There's no doubt sort of Watercraft has played a part in that. So what is it for you? Can you go back to when you know, who taught you and what you were told to look for and the findings, just so people can put that into their own angling, really?
Don't think it's something you can teach anyway. I think
experience, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's something that you're born with, that instinct, because it's primal, the hunter instinct. So I think some people are born with it becoming more naturally than others, and I think you can't really teach somebody to have that instinct. You can teach somebody to get better at certain aspects of watercraft, like feeling a lead down and stuff like that, which is all, for me, it's all part of it. But in terms of location and where you would start a session or how you would certain areas of a lake you target certain times of a year, I think it just becomes it's a natural instinct that you build up over time. You see patterns. I always record everything on every session, and you'll start to see patterns on certain lakes. And it's not only your own stuff as well. I think part of the Watercraft is being able to pull information from other people as well in the right way, not just going into their swim and asking them a million questions.
Yeah, put the kettle on.
Yeah, you know,
Do
I
it
think,
subtly.
I think, yeah, like there's the fish, the big fish in Green Acres. That's a relatively greedy fish, gets caught quite a lot. But there was 2 swims where it was obvious that in the spring, in particular, it gets caught a lot.
Yeah,
we actually did a video with Mark Bartlett on that lake over 10 years ago, an underwater film, and he caught that big one when it wasn't the big one, it was I think it was a scraper 30 in this area. I've come back on there last year at 10 years since I've been there, and I was like, the big one gets caught in this area, and it's still the same area as it was 10 years ago. Last spring, Mike Jarvis caught it from that area, one of our fox anglers. It got caught. He caught it as a mid 40. I think just before spawn, it got caught in that area again as a 50. So this year I've gone back on with, well, this is the two swims I want to be in. Like, I don't care about the rest of the lake. That's the one fish I'm going to try and catch. So I'm just going to fish those swims. Doing well out of them. Had several good fish up to high 30s. Mike is also fishing those same swims because they're good swims anyway. He's had fish up to 45 out of 45 over the Easter weekend from there. And then another friend of ours, Lee, went down for his first session Monday, Easter Monday, in that same swim where we've been, you know, we kind of know that big one's going to get caught. Hour after casting out, he had it 47 something new PB for him. So
that's the really reason why you've left.
No, it's a natural thing. Monday it got caught, and then Tuesday we got 20 degrees. So it was like, for me, that's
perfect.
Now's
the time to sign off.
Now's the time, yeah. But I know this sounds shit, but when a fish gets caught where you think it was going to get caught in a way that you think, I almost feel like I've done part of the capture.
Well, you just
anyway.
knew you were on the right lines.
Like,
you knew if you did
I know Shaun don't like talking about pike fishing, but I've done it with pike fishing before on a massive drain in the fens a few years ago. We'd worked out where that particular pike was going to be just before spawning. I was unfortunately on holiday in Australia that week.
Oh, it sounds shit, mate.
It got caught. It got caught from that. Like, we'd done all winter. We'd worked our way towards locating where that was going to be, and it got caught from there. And I wasn't there for my bait to be picked up. Still felt like a lot of that work was done, because the last bit of the fishing is down to luck. You're going to have your rig and bait in a water for only a certain amount of hours in any given week or any period of time. So that bit is luck as to whether you are in the right place at the right time. But to locate the zone or an end of the lake or certain area where you think certain fish that you want to catch will get caught if they do, they end up getting caught there. Whether you catch them or not, you've still, it's validation, I think, in your mind that
I was on the right line. It was,
Yeah, like I don't like when used to were going to Rainbow. I used to go to Rainbow every year.
Saturday.
You go on Saturday. Like when you're booking a peg or whatever, there must be at times certain fish that are renowned for being in a certain peg at a certain time, and you're booking that with that fish in mind, or that's part of
your tactics.
That's part of it, isn't it? That's part of the watercraft. I would say is that
I agree.
Like when you see people say, if I want to catch my first 30, well, if you go fish somewhere where there's no 30s, you're never going to catch your first 30. Like if you want to catch, you got to try and put everything into the odds into your favour.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big believer of they don't eat pop-ups in here, or they like they only get caught on yellow, or that thing I think is
mythical.
Yeah. That's not part of it for me. I think the location part of it is the most important part of the watercraft.
I think it's time and experience related more than anything. I think most of the complete anglers, if you like, are the ones that have gone through an apprenticeship as well. So they've built up their angling knowledge through various disciplines, whether they've started off roach fishing, feeder fishing, whatever as a kid, and they've built up that angling sort of, apprenticeship, if you like. And I just don't think you can replace time and experience on the bank, the longer you're there, the more you get I call it in tune with the water.
Yeah.
When you get to know the locals, you build up a bit of knowledge collectively. Like Scott touched on, you politely ask, try to find out, get the heads up on a few pointers.
Subtly watch.
Different seasonalities. Watch yourself. Don't get dragged into, and we're all guilty of it a little bit. It's 25 wraps towards them Twin Peaks on the horizon. Think a little bit more out of the box. Do your own thing where you feel it's required.
Make notes.
And just be there. Be there, remember it. Put some work. You don't have to be fishing to learn. Just go down for a walk. Walk the dog, put a bit of bait in.
That's for me a huge thing.
And things like just keep in tune with the water for me. That's my biggest tip.
The more you go, the
more you see.
Yeah.
The more you learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think it's if you get a lot of people nowadays who are waiting at home for something to happen before they react, and they're messaging people what's happening,
it's done.
Yeah, I've had it this week. I've been to see my friend who's fishing on a lake, and then I've got other lads who have got tickets for that lake messaging me saying, "Has there been fish getting caught? What's going?" And it's like, it's not my information to share, but also like, if you want to know, go and use your own. Go and look. Go and see what That is probably the negative side of social media now. People are waiting to see something happen on social media before they react.
Yeah.
And then that kind of breeds a type of angler who wants to keep everything quiet and more secretive, because they know if they put things out too quickly, they're just going to impact their own fishing. But like Shaun said, spending time is massive. I was the Caravan Park Linear lake. I had to wait 11 years to get a ticket for that lake. But I used to go there every year, numerous times, to see friends who were fishing, to punish their ticket.
Should have got yourself a lawnmower.
There's not enough grass there, unfortunately. And the whole time you're there, you're learning just as much as if you were with rods out, maybe even more, because if you've got rods out, you're stuck to a swim, or maybe the two swims to next door. You can't be right round the other side. Whereas when you're walking around punishing a few lads up for teas, you've got 2 hours in that swim, 2 hours in that one. Before you know it, you've been round the whole lake, seeing things, hearing things,
shows.
Yeah. And I've always said, and it wasn't arrogance, I always said I'll catch that fish pretty quickly once I get a ticket, because I feel like I know what I need to do. I've just got to get the opportunity to be able to do it now.
Yeah.
And it was my first bite, which is luck. But I caught it exactly how I thought I was going to catch it from all of the information that I'd picked up in that time.
Fair play.
So yeah, obviously that's extreme. Like 11 years of walking a lake before you put a rod in is a bit crazy. But you can shorten that. You can shorten that right down.
Yeah.
I was watching a Tom Maker video the other day at Linear, and he just taught. he talked about the amount of people there who literally, as soon as they see a the free swim, they're in it straight away. And he just said, like, spend some time walking around, talking to people before you commit to a swim. And I think a lot of people just...
I think preconceived ideas.
Yeah.
They might have caught from there 2 months ago or whatever. They just like, I know I can go in that and do the same thing and catch the same thing, which isn't always
No, it don't work like that, does it? It doesn't work like that. It's weird. When you just reminded me then of something when you're saying like some anglers, obviously they've done their own work. They're trying to keep things to themselves. I was walking around, guys, the big main mere in Ellesmere, 115 odd acres. It's 70 foot deep. I used to live there, and I went for before work, I went for a dog walk. It was early. It was like 5 a.m. Summer, just getting light. I remember walking past one swim. It's a hard water, and everyone's very, very hush-hush on it. And I remember walking past one swim, bivvy up, and there was like 2 nets dripping. There was a sling drying, and I just walked past the bivvy with the dog. Turned round the bottom, came back. By then, nets are out the way, slings are packed away, and he was packing up. And then he was outside the bivvy to chat to. I was like, morning, mate, you right? Had much? Nah, mate, nothing again. I was like, fair play, mate, no worries. The fact that, do you know what I mean? I know you've probably just had 2 fish and sat in the side and weighed them or whatever 10 minutes before I got there. But that's what it is, they're hard waters.
But fair play. Going back to if you started fishing there and didn't intrude, respected that, spent time there, earned the right to ask, eventually... that angler would share information.
Yeah. There's one guy.
You get 2 people come down. What have you had, mate? Where are you catching him from? How many wraps?
Yeah.
I'll tell you nothing.
No. There was one lad who used to serve in the shop, when I had the tackle shop, and he said how he got his information. He used to go to the Carp lakes, and he said, I used to dress in Matrix match gear and go and chat to the Carp lads. Because he said they tell me everything. Because I'm just a bream angler, mate. Just dying to do a bit of... Do you have any carp? And they'll tell you, oh yeah, I had this 20... Oh, I'm not interested in that crap.
You don't want to come bream fishing in this peg. Them carp will be snapping you up left, right and centre, mate.
That's it.
Go a pack of size 4s and a 6-ounce lead, please.
Yeah, but he said, I used to do that. And he said, he used to give me the information. But, sneaky way of doing it. But, obviously...
Just logging the information. Lou mentioned it before about making notes. It might, the first few times you do it, it might just seem like you're just making random notes. The more in depth you do it, the more repeating you do it, the more over months, weeks, years, weather conditions, whatever, and you'll start to pick up patterns.
Yeah.
And then use what you see with the knowledge that you've got in your patterns, and then you can start piecing it together. Or if you've got nothing to go on and you can't see anything, then you go, well, what happened historically? That area, it was sunny, windy, whatever, then you've got a starting point, haven't you?
2008 period when I was fishing on this, it was only small 3-acre lake, but it was rock hard. I think it did 18 bites one year, and I had 9 of them, and I was only a weekend angler, I wasn't doing loads of time, but a friend of mine who'd fished that lake previously was a very secretive angler who wouldn't tell you anything really, but he gave me a printout, and it was a quote from a book, and it was about Fox Pool, and this quote was about these tiny features being super important on Fox Pool,
right?
And he had it sellotaped onto his tackle box lid, this quote, and he'd used it on this particular lake. And that was all he ever gave me, was like, what you're looking for are tiny. So that following winter, I spent a whole day, there's not many swims on the lake, 6 swims, leading up every one of them, looking for something. And I managed to find a few tiny little gravel spots where they'd be literally 6 inches shallower or 6 inches deeper.
Yeah.
And the way this lake's got these tracks with potholes, and originally I thought 6 inches isn't really much of a depth variation, but then my car hit a pothole on the track, and I was like, fucking hell. And I got out to have a look, and the pothole was only like 3 inches deep. And you looked at it and I thought, if that was on the lake bed as a fish's crate, that is a dinner plate. Like, that is a feature. And so I started to give this absolute massive attention to the tiniest of variations because this guy had tipped me off. So I was fishing single hook baits, no free bait at all, on these spots and catching. And I had a notebook, and every time a fish showed, I would mark an X on the. I've got drawn the lake because this is before we had like decent apps or satellite pictures and stuff like that. So I've drawn it, and I'm just marking every time. And then it became this apparent that they would show where where these features were. Like these were their areas where they were happy. And this lad, he was a nice enough lad, come up to me once and he was like, "Oh, I just can't get a bite. Like, what are you what are you doing? What should I be doing?" And I was like, every time you see a fish show, just mark it, and if you start to see a pattern that they're showing on the same area, concentrate on those areas. Yeah, good idea. I showed him the thing. I didn't show him the X's. I just said like, I quickly scribble the lake. Let's do it like that. A couple of hours later, I've seen a fish show in front of him. I've looked down. He's fucking there reading a fishing magazine, and I'm like, "There's an X on my one." And you think, well, you can tell somebody to do something, but if they're not going to sit with their eyes on the water, who's it? It says burning optical calories. Is it Adam Pennin?
Pennin, yeah.
Pennin, yeah.
Yeah, that burning optical calories, watching the water, like that's the biggest part of watercraft. Yeah, and it's the hardest it's ever been now because of bloody phones.
Yeah, we are distracted massively, aren't we?
I used to have a radio low down in the background, listening to TalkSport or whatever, and spend a whole day watching the water. But now with a phone, it's so hard. You're watching fucking shit like rotting your brain rather than doing it. You have to be really, really disciplined now to watch the water as much.
To be fair to him, it's what Chili always says when he's here. He does hammer that home, doesn't he, about the front of your bivvy looking out, that's your TV screen. And don't look anywhere else and you will pick up so much more. But it's like you say, Lou, it's not just doing it over one session. If you do it over the course of a year, all that extra information you've just gained by your eyes being your best tools.
Yeah, and it might not work. It might not pay off for you this year, but when you go back on that water for the following spring long-term or whatever, it's giving you a start. It's giving you a starting point because I don't know, but I think on most lakes, it's very rare that you go back and it's a complete blank canvas every season and you're starting from scratch. There's normally traits, like there are definitely some lakes where like if a spot does 3 bites, it doesn't do a bite again. It's blown. The lower stock ones or whatever. But I think generally, the stuff that you're learning.
That's what Swim Mapper was good for.
Yeah,
because you could.
That was amazing.
One of the features was you put fish there, and you ended up with a collection of like 4, 5, 6 in one.
It was brilliant.
Area. Then you'd lead it, you'd find it, you'd marker it, you'd put everything in.
But that information is currency as well. Like we talked about it with Jimmy on his podcast about how to make friends and influence people and what have you. And like we said, you don't walk into somebody's swim and just start asking them loads of questions and punishing them because they're not going to share their hard work with you. But once you've been somewhere and caught what you wanted to catch and you move on, invariably you'll bump into somebody who's now fishing on that water, and they might have some information about a water they've fished in the past, and then you can trade that information like not in a like, oh, what have you got swapsies, but just over a cup of tea informally, you build up trust, and you'll say, oh, the northeast corner from 3 o'clock onwards is a great area at this time of year on that lake, and they'll say it's funny because on so and so a lake used to be bite time would be 6 in the morning out of whatever swim was a banker, and you just all that information is getting processed. And
it's interesting actually. I feel like I'm right in the middle of this equation right now because literally I've started fishing a new syndicate. I've put my syndicate that I've fished for 2 decades on pause. So I'm like somewhere new, big, Grenville's. Yeah. And it's like, don't really know anybody on there. So I keep in tune with it as much as I can. But before I went on there, I thought, even if I do know people, I'm not going to ring them and what they've had and ask for information. I'm going to get on there, do my own thing, probably miss out on some opportunities rather than just jumping in straight behind people and things like that. But I'm going to fish every bank. I'm going to fish all the corners. I'm going to get my marker rod out. I'm going to watch the water. And just try to get a broad knowledge on the lake. Obviously, I started in the winter, I'm coming into the spring, I'll be going into the summer, I'll get that seasonality effect. looks like weather and conditions is a massive thing on there, which influences the amount of people that go. So it's just like we've just discussed, it's building up that knowledge over time. Yes, I've missed out on some opportunities. If I'd follow people in, fish the same wraps, put some bait in, I'd have probably caught a couple more.
Short term though, isn't it? That's
I'm thinking,
you're thinking a bit longer term.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, because there's enough carp in there for a lifetime, and I'm hoping there for that.
It's also more satisfying when you do the groundwork and you catch.
And there's going to be an opportunity when they get down there. And there's perhaps no one that you could ask, but I'm going to see them. I'm going to have a bit of knowledge on that swim, even if someone's not in it or they've caught or I'm not following somebody or anything like that. But if I see fish there, I've got knowledge on that swim. I know where to cast. I can wrap up. I can fish it effectively in my head quickly without disturbing them. Perhaps catch a few and move on because I've fished every bank, most corners of the lake, built up some knowledge like Lou does, make a few notes, certain number of wraps, substrate. Taking a long-term approach.
Yeah, it all adds to it. Like I say, you're building up that sort of your own Bible of the book of the lake, aren't you? I suppose that's.
I'm enjoying doing it.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to
watching other people catch. Yeah, it's cosmic.
Love taking pictures of other people.
That's my excuse anyway. I've managed to bore a couple out, but yeah, I'm really enjoying the challenge, to be honest.
Nice.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to touch on with this watercraft, it sort of like goes hand in hand with what we're talking about. I was listening to the Baitworks podcast yesterday, and they were talking about, because they've had a few match anglers who started out as match anglers who have become carp anglers, like on their podcast recently as guests. And one of the things that stands out with the match anglers is the way they feed a swim and apply bait, whereas carp anglers, it's very much turn up, put all your bait in at the start of the session, catch some fish, and maybe top up if you've had a few bites along the way. And they were talking about how match angler would feed the swim much more little and often throughout their thing. But what they also talked about was how a match angler will feed a line that they won't fish to start with. They'll be having their main area what they'll fish, but they'll be putting bait down the edge or so many meters out, ready to try that in a few hours' time if they see activity.
I touched on this when we did the comments on the underwater stuff.
Spod spill.
Yeah. And again, I was talking to my mate about it, saying how many carp anglers would actually, if they're working a swim, would they also bait a part of that swim where they don't intend to fish?
Yeah.
But
there'll be areas in your swim where the fish are at different times of the day.
But it's getting more and more common, I would guess, for people to fish free rods on one baited area. That's like become an in vogue sort of thing in the past 5 years or so. Free on a baited area to concentrate the fish into that area, but you're also putting free lines in one area, and again, they said on that podcast, the way a carp angler's fishing is you're putting your bait out and then straight away you're putting lines on it. So straight away that baited area is already like more suspect.
Yeah.
Whereas to put bait in an area and leave it for, maybe don't fish it that week, you just keep putting bait in there and then eventually you're dropping it over the course of a season. And I found it quite interesting because I've never done that. I've rested the swim. If I've got 2 or 3 nights, I'll quite often reel in for a few hours and leave the swim for a few hours. I've always thought that was a good edge to have, but I've never pre-baited a spot within a swim and not fished it
in session as well.
Yeah. And I thought, I didn't know what
there's places in your swims that there'll be fish at certain times of day. I remember years and years ago fishing the mere down the shallows. The sun would be off your back, and as the day went on, the sun would come over your head. And those fish, when it was weedy, those fish would be on the far margin to start with. Throughout the day, they'd move with the sun, and I started actually catching them, stalking them, wading out in the margins. And it was the evenings when you could catch them close because the sun had come over and then the sun was in that margin.
Right.
So but if you were fishing there, you'd just chuck your rods out to the far bank at night. You might catch one in the morning as they come through. And as the day came on, the fish would come closer and closer, and I could stalk them just free lining. And then I'd just wind one of the rods in and just literally just walk out and fish little tiny bits in the weed and stuff. But again, that just cements that you can be in a swim, and there'll be certain areas in that swim where you're expecting a bite in the morning.
Yeah.
That's it then, it's done and dusted. Well, it might not be. They might be somewhere else in the swim later on the day, but it's just working, innit? We as carp anglers, we like to get in, set our store, put the rods out. I say we do. But we put it in and we wait. and we just say we get about at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then we're waiting for the rest of the time for nothing. If you're prepared to work harder and look and observe and watch and make your notes and get your patterns, there's other opportunities in your swim other than the going time, I think.
But my mate who I was talking about it with yesterday at the lake, he does that. So I said to him, like, I was listening to that podcast, and it really struck with me that this is something I'm missing out on by not doing it. And you know, whether or not you agree with bait boats and cameras, he uses that technology, and he's like, I've got areas in the swim because he's working a swim at the moment, you know, trying to get in there every week and build something. He's got areas in that swim where he's baiting, so he's got him marked in his GPS on his bait boat, and he puts bait in there, and he can drop his camera down, and he's monitoring the area, waiting. I don't know what for, but he will see something. He'll see that spot turned over, some pea shingle come through the silt, or whatever the spot is. He didn't talk about the spot. He just said he'd got areas that he's working. He's fishing areas and he's getting bites.
Yeah, you're priming, aren't you?
But it's almost like if the areas he's catching from start to dry up, which invariably they probably will do because it's not a heavily stocked lake, and if you're catching every time you go, they're going to wise up. But he's got those new areas that he can drop on, and he can, you know, 4 rods on that lake, so he can still keep some on the going areas just in case they still tick along. And I thought, I've definitely been missing a trick here. If you can,
well, that's it. He's angling. He's doing stuff that we used to do years ago. That technology now is all right. He's using tech, but he's using it to angle. You know, he's not just bait boating them out, leaving them there, sticking through in a spot, putting loads of bait in the real tight in an area. He's actually angling whilst he's doing it. So regardless of what tech people are using, if you use it to your advantage to angle, a good angler with tech will catch more because he's an angler and he can angle properly.
Yeah, you've got another.
You get out of it what you put into it.
Yeah,
it's with everything in life, isn't it?
Yeah.
The more effort you put in, the more rewards you're going to reap.
Yeah, I suppose
that's the difference between people who might catch 1 and 2, and your 10% of your top rods they're going to catch 5, 6, 7. Because he's maximising his potential in this swim in the area.
You said you're off to Rainbow in a few days' time. Have you got 1 week or 2 weeks?
2.
2 weeks. And you know what peg you're in.
Yep.
Do you know what side of the peg you're in yet? Or
yep.
Yeah, so you know so are you with that lake? How much watercraft can you use there? Like, because quite often you hear people like that. The Brazil tree or the banana, whatever, you know, and when I went, I've been there twice, and both times it was like you put a rod there, you put a rod there, you put a rod there. But then I was watching Moz's last vlog video thing that he put out on DNA the other day, and he's got a casting rod.
That was last time in 11. Yeah.
chucking single up baits at fizzers.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, this is a side to Rainbow I've never seen on video before.
We
and he was
about
his
this,
most prolific rod was the one he was
I
casting.
think the best example I've got, and it's slightly relatable to what you've just mentioned.
Is it what we were chatting about on Sunday?
I don't know.
Monday, Sunday?
I don't know.
When we were fishing the island?
No, this is going back to
another story,
our first trip in Peg 5.
It's similar.
And we were exactly like you described it. One on the wickets, one on the pointy tree, one there, and you just go with the flow to get started, don't you? You reserve a couple of rods, and then you work your way into the session. If you see something show, you do your own thing, and you just build yourself up into a session. But I can remember getting up one morning. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I had a pee in the lake. I'm having a pee in the lake, and it's silent Rainbow, so you're doing your best not to
pin drop,
sound like a police horse. You know what I mean? And in the deep water,
then it hit your shoe on the way in.
Water's about 2.5 foot deep. And literally the deep, like no man's land, if you like, in front of the swim. We were fishing over. You're probably talking 15, 18 foot in places. If you hadn't been looking, you want to see it, just saw a head come out. Oh, interesting. Then another one. So obviously gripped it. No, I didn't. So do you know what? I'm going to put kettle on. So I put the kettle on. Scotty was snoring. Sat on a bucket and just watched them. I thought, right. So I wound a rod in, put a 3-ounce lead on, single lead, fluorocarbon leader, 2 bait stringer, and just flicked it on them. I think following morning I had a 58 common that was in the retainer.
Yeah.
Waiting for a picture and put it back out. It went again. Long story short, it was Eric's common at £86, and 86 and a 58 or whatever it was.
From a spot that isn't really a spot.
Just by getting up and having a call of nature in the night and reacting to it.
A lot of people wouldn't have reacted, would they? They'd have gone, they're just showing over deep
literally
water.
a 2-bait stringer.
But
it was tricky because I only had thick fluorocarbon leader, so he's casting it up in the air, and it was like as the knot was going through the rings, giving it plenty of height, and then just feeling it down, watching under the moonlight, catapult, 50 baits over it, left it, slackish line because I wasn't fishing near snags, and a couple of churners, which was really nice.
But you angled it. That's the difference.
Yeah.
We were chatting about this on Sunday, actually. You might remember, but you were probably 8 pints of Guinness in by that point.
Could have been, actually. Yeah.
We were chatting about the island and the different areas to fish. And when we first fished it, it's like you got this big pool out in front of you and so many places to fish off the island, so many features, so many margins to go everywhere.
Yeah.
And there was two instances during that trip that we were sussing things out. So we're fishing the normal spots, the duck spot, the cut through, the totem pole, whatever it is, all the normal spots. And we'd sit there because you need something to start with, like Shaun said. You're in somewhere, you've got to make the most of it. So we're fishing the spots. We caught a couple of fish from them. And whilst we're sat there, there's not a lot to do on the island. It's thin, it's narrow, there's not a lot of space. You are sitting in the middle, about the size of this, and that's all you've got.
Yeah.
So you're just watching, all the time watching. And we started seeing these fish in open water, the odd one nutting out, and everyone said, it's a void. There's nothing there. There's a bit of a bar, it drops off. It's a bit softer and shitty silt, and then it goes to all the bars and everything. So we watched them for a bit. And over a course of a couple of days, we saw a few in this area. So I've gone out with the boat. I've gone across the area with the sounder, and I've dropped an H-block in. I shouted back to Shaun, is that about the right area? He's like, yeah, it's about the right area.
Yeah.
So I'm going around the sounder, and it's like a little drop off. It's soft, but then the silt is stinky, but then there's some nice harder areas. So I was like, well, that's about right. Yeah, that's about right. So I've dropped a marker poling, threw a bit of bait around it like that, carried on doing the far bank rods come in. We carried on watching it for, a day, a few hours, or whatever it may be. Next minute, pole's giving it that. There's fish there. And then we'd see one not out next morning or whatever. So we dropped a rod in the middle of this pool that nobody fishes. Right. And I think over the course of the next 4 or 5 days, it became, didn't it? The best consistent spot in the whole swim.
They just kept visiting, and as you were putting
and then we
bait.
were just working at it. And because nobody bothers, it was just angling. We were, the fish were showing us where they wanted to be. We angled to them. And then in the same trip, towards the end of the second week, we were seeing them really short in front of us, like super short. And along the front of there, you've got some big bars with quite deep gullies. It literally is like that on your way out. And we'd seen them on the left and some on the right. And it just transpired that when we'd gone out with a sounder, they are running this particular trough, between two bars, this deeper area. They were running that.
It's like a patrol route almost, up and down.
Yeah, but the tops of them was pretty gnarly. Yeah, so to fish into them, you were fishing over some stuff that your liner gets stuck in. It was hard to get out. So Shaun's got a 48-inch bank stick, and we got them sea hooks that we used to do. And he's bent it in like that, and then off the end of it, we put like a
heli bead.
Yeah, he put a heli bead in it, and then the line would run through the heli bead and put like a little pine needle in, so you're fishing tight to it, and then slack down the back. But your pole's on the bar, and then basically what happens
so
when you got a
washing
bite,
line in, but
the
other direction rather than coming back to you.
I was tight to the circle, double the braid through, pin it with a pine needle so it'd break away, and then your fluorocarbon would just go down into the trough.
Limp as hell, just
nice.
But then when you get the bite, it snaps the needle. It was, and he was like, "It'll do." We were talking about if we get a bite now, and it did that. It's gone. Tip's gone. It snapped the needle, sat in the bottom of the sea, not the bar. So now the line's running through the sea, and it's gone. It's got a bite. So now the line's in that, not cutting through the top of the gnarly bar. So anyway, it's gone out in the boat, landed the fish.
Nice.
I found a spot further along the bar and put a rod down myself, and we ended up with 2 rods fishing this bar, and we only probably fished it the last 2 days.
Yeah.
I think we had 3, maybe 4 fish from this area. Again, it was just watching what was going. Nobody ever
decent
fishes
average
that.
as well. They were all like 50, 3 out of 4 were 50 plus, mid-50s.
And that's purely down to what
Just
your
watch
eyes
it.
saw.
Just try
Don't be
something a bit different.
Don't be afraid
Have
to
that
react
degree
to
of
what your eyes are showing
flexibility.
you.
Do you get, just touching what Lou said at the start then about the watercraft thing, there's some things you can't teach it. Some anglers are born with that intuition. I'm putting this to you as well, Lou. When you walk onto certain lakes, do you have that, yes, pulling in the information you've got from years of gone by and things like that, especially with rainbow, having that gut feeling, that where your eye is drawn to a certain area and you're like, my gut says they're going to be there, I'm going to get a bite. Do you ever get that as well in these sort of
We used to
these
have
zones?
that before we were doing wraps and things years ago.
You do.
You get that? Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
You walk into a swim, you just like,
Lou
you're
mentioned
drawn
it,
to an area. Do you ever get that, Lou?
X-factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that normally comes during a session, not before, for me.
Yeah.
So if you and that's part of that building into a session, that's why I go for 2 weeks. Because if nothing in front of you the first week, you've got a better chance the second week. And it's just, over a period of time, you get areas that have no pressure or far less pressured. Because a lot of time, your chances can be affected by the guys next door. They might be, have 35 H blocks and it looks like Heathrow runway. Fish ain't going to stay there long. So on purpose, we'll wind a couple of rods in where we think them fish will move to and leave them for 2 or 3 days, create a safe zone. Then fish on the outside of them to pick them off so we don't move them. So it's just how you build yourself into a session. It's just understand it's just like one big computer game.
It's the other thing with line lays and stuff, and that's why floats and things that you use at Rainbow can help to get your line out of the water where there's patrol routes. We said it before on the underwater. When everything's pinned on the bottom, I don't think they really care.
Yeah.
They go under tubing, they rub it with their fins, they go through submerge and leaders. But the lines going through the swims, that's what is stopping them going through. And you just make sure that you can think about your lines and where they're going through your swim as much as what else is going on, and are them lines cutting your fish access from other areas. But Shaun hit on something then that I was going to mention when we talk about basics and fundamentals of watercraft. There's 2 elements to look at it. There's like natural occurring weather and topography and all that kind of stuff, and then there's angular pressure. And angular pressure these days on busy lakes will push fish into areas that natural conditions wouldn't do. Or the natural conditions say the fish are going to be down there, but there's that many anglers there that they're just going to do the opposite of what you think and completely move away from that zone. So your wind direction, the sun, the times of year, the water getting warmer.
It's trying to get ahead of it.
The features that are in the water that are bringing those fish to. At some point, angling pressure in that zone pushes all out the window, and then the fish back off to another area.
How many times do you get down to a lake and you go, there's a southwesterly coming in tomorrow, or the sun's coming out tomorrow? Or they might be at the back of this northerly. It's all right saying it, but try and get ahead of it is my tip as well. Take a little bit of a risk. Get there the day before or a few hours before. If there's loads of people at the other end of the lake fishing on a southwesterly and they're catching a few, that's fine. But if the sun's going to come out or the wind change, get ahead of it. Be there ready for when it happens.
Roll the dice.
If you take a long-term approach like that and try and be a bit more proactive with it, you'll when it does come right, you'll really benefit.
We had a guy on a syndicate years ago, and he was fishing midweeks, and he was like, because he was fishing it that often in midweek, he got the ump if someone turned up. I was like, what's the problem? Well, he got so used to having the whole lake to himself all week. He got the ump when someone turned up. But he used to say to me, I can catch straight away, and then I go days without nothing. I was like, because you're fishing it on your own, and there's nobody else there, you've caught. He said, then I'll move, and then I'll catch again. I said, yeah, because you're moving the fish. You're on your own fishing. They've got all the rest of the lake to go to. You catch 1 or 2, and then the fish move away, and you just sit there waiting for them. But when it's busier, the fish are starting to move around.
Angling pressure is the biggest
huge these days
thing ever. Like, I don't know. I mean, you don't get traditional close seasons really on many lakes now. You do get like a 4-week or 6-week spawning close season, I guess. But more often than not, the anticipation of the first night of the season, that it's normally the shittest night of the season. Everybody thinks, they've had a 6 weeks of rest. I've been putting some bait in during that time. Going to have it off. And what happens is at 8 o'clock on whatever evening,
See ya.
fucking 30 leads go all around the lake, and then fish go, fuck this. And nothing hardly gets caught. And everybody, like the amount of lakes I've been on where like you have to go in a draw for it, or you have to do so many work parties to fish the opening. It's
everyone
like,
put
fuck
baits
that.
in. There's bait everywhere.
Yeah,
give it a week or so.
Yeah. Even like on one lake I fished, it's a 72-hour rule. It's like we'll be on in 72 hours time into the season. Let everybody create all the disturbance. Put a load of bait in. Once the lake goes quiet, the fish will start showing on people's bait, and then that'll be where you decide to fish. The fish will tell you where you need to be.
Yep.
Yeah, massive anticlimax normally, like because everybody just the fish go from nothing
to everything.
To everything. Yeah, like same with really small lakes like Spitfire, them sort of places. If you just fished one swim all week, it would be horrific because it would be the one area where the fish are going to spend hardly any time because you're creating all of the noise and disturbance in that one area, and they'll just go to the quieter areas. Like you need to, like Shaun said, be one step ahead. Like,
so we've had times at Rainbow where there's loads of fish in that snagging. If you go straight in there, you'll probably catch 6 in a day.
But that's it.
Then that's nothing.
Yeah.
But if you think about which way they're coming in, which way they're going out, a baiting strategy, pick them off tactic rather than just go and blow them up. Fish on the outskirts of them, let them be safe, let them drift around a bit. But I'd rather catch one a day for the next 10 days.
Yeah, than having that super amazing one day and then sat there for...
Yeah, because if you do that, you got much chance of getting the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, when me and
more and more consistent.
Me, Scott, and I can't remember if we talked about this before, but me and Scott and Harry years ago did a fox video at Old Oaks in France, and
I remember watching that.
It's a rectangle lake, 4 or 5 acres, and all the swims are on one bank. 5 swims, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down one bank.
Was that when you had absolutely crazy hot weather? And I remember Scott like cutting your t-shirt.
No, that was a lake in England.
Was that a
film,
one?
yeah.
Watching that one.
So basically, I'd been there before and fished in peg 3 in the middle and did really well because I had a friend go in peg 5, friend go in peg 1, and I went in 3. And what happened was most of the fish were in both ends, but my mates caught a few, and then the fish, I was just getting passing traffic all the time as they were bouncing them up and down.
Perfect.
So I went back with Scott and Harry thinking, I want to be in peg 3, I want to be in peg 3, I want to be in peg 3. Got in peg 3 thinking, fucking brilliant. Scott's gone in peg 2 and left peg 1 empty, and Harry's gone in peg 5, left 4 empty, but fished straight in front of him and left his far corner. Scott left his far corner, and basically what happened was every time the fish creeped out, they'd pick one off, they'd just fuck off back into their corners. Yep. They didn't pass it, and my swim was pretty shit. Yeah, and that was a complete. That was
nice.
Yeah, that was yeah. It was unbelievable how the two anglers either side of me fishing their swims differently, completely. Effectively. It completely changed the fish's behaviour. And that's something I've used quite a bit in my fishing now. Is not to go right into it, just to come short. Especially like you say, if you're doing an overnighter, it's a bit different. Like you just maximise it.
Exactly.
But if you're on a longer session, think about the longer term thing. If you're on a big lake at range, rather than fishing at the absolute maximum, fish a little bit shorter, so when they spook, they just bounce behind you rather than going left or right to somebody else.
Yeah, you want that rotary bites, don't you? That's what you want happening.
If you're a little bit shorter, you're probably fishing a little bit more accurate. Your bait's a bit tighter.
The wind picks up. You've got a bit in your locker.
You've got a bit of wiggle room.
Yeah,
fair play. Interesting.
I don't think there is no hard and fast rules for Watercraft. There's too many things that change it, and too many contributing factors that make things a bit different these days. But wind, sun, depth of water, all those kind of things are great, or naturally occurring things that make you think that's the best zone, or that's a good zone, or that's a good area. But then, as we've just all experienced and talked about, there's times where angling pressure will just destroy all the knowledge and thoughts you've got and push the fish into a zone. But again, that's like making notes. Just the more information you've got, the more experience you've got, And that experience comes with not just fishing, comes with going around and reading people's tea like Lou does.
Yeah.
And it's just experience and knowledge, and just trying to if you can retain it, great. If not, just write it down. It'll all benefit you in the long run.
So take a step back, survey your swim, use your eyes.
Put some hard work in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is. It's hard work.
Fair play. And you're back to Rainbow this week?
Saturday.
Yeah. For now.
Back on the island.
We were just chatting about earlier the Scar Common and the story behind that as well. Weren't we? Like how that sort of came about.
Yeah.
And
in terms of memorable catches, that's right up there with me. It's definitely a Champions League spot. Being a United fan, you know what a Champions League spot is?
Next year I will.
Mate, yeah.
Next year I will.
You might not.
We won't. But yeah, I mean, what was it, 3 years ago? April. Yeah, I mean, ever since me and Scott first went to Rainbow was probably 12, 13 years ago. Maybe even longer. Time goes quick, doesn't it? Anyway, there's a fish in there. It's a very famous fish called the Scar Common. And I think it was 3 years ago, we were on a trip, we were in Peg 11. Used to come from there, but had not been out for 2 or 3 years. To our knowledge, Rainbow obviously attracts so many different nationalities. I'm not on Facebook. I prefer to look at a lake.
But it was presumed
and do some
dead.
watercraft.
Was that right?
It was presumed dead, and we were told by some Welsh guys, I think, that they buried it in the pine forest and all this type of fishing rumours, you know what I mean? It could be like Chinese whispers. So it was completely off anybody's radar to catch. Big fish, that's 70, 80 plus. I think it's built to nearly 90 in its day. Anyways, happily plodded. And it was always one I wanted. It had loads of character. It's got a little bit of coin. It's got quite a light back, and it's a really long, deep fish. Which is big, 80 plus. Wasn't even on our radar, and I was on the left-hand side of Peg 11. Long story short, I think we were first day into the second week, and I persevered, because generally what I found on there, even if you're on a long session as well, if you've got a plan, you've probably got 10 to 20% wiggle room to change your tactic, react to something. But if you start changing your whole plan, then you end up with a piecemeal plan, and you end up with bait all over the show. You end up buggering your own session up. So this rod, I've been fishing. I think it'd done 2 bites in the first 8 days. I was happy with a couple of nice ones. It's gone over again. Anyway, playing this fish from the bank, because I was only fishing. It was casting distance, but I was dropping it out of a boat just to be a little bit more accurate. And the rig I was using, it was better suited to drop it from a boat. Anyway, it came up, saw it was a big fish, put it in the net, and then scratched my head because I looked down and I thought it can't be. But sure enough, it filled the net, front to back, very wide, a bit of koi in its back, rolled it over, big deep fish with a scar down its face, and I'm thinking it has to be.
Scar
so I rung one of my pals, Jordan, and explained it. He went, "Is that scar?" He went, "Yep, it can only be that fish." Hey, sure it was, £82.
3 years on the missing list.
2 to 3 years. I can't remember the exact details,
Jesus.
but yeah. Whether it had been tethered or it had been caught, by, Eastern Bloc anglers or something like that hadn't publicly put it out there. But yeah, in terms of a surprise and a buzz, I'll send you a picture.
We'll put that up now. We'll put it up.
It was mega.
Mega.
Sun was out, as you can imagine. A few cold beers about, capture the moment, and I can't remember the weight. It was one from my frame on my wall in my office, put it that way. It was
an 80-pluser.
It was 82, yeah. So it sits alongside Eric's and one or two others on that wall now, and let's hope I can get a picture frame out and add to my wall over the next 2 weeks. There's still a few in there that I'd like.
Yeah, I reckon. Big fish water, that's for sure. You ever fancy doing it again, Lou? Bit of Rainbow? That's it, you're done on that? If a trip presented itself and it was like, do you want to come to Rainbow, would you jump at it?
Actually, randomly, when I watched Moz's video the other day, I thought I'd probably go for a trip with him.
Yeah,
I think I'd enjoy just not 2 weeks. That'd be too much, but a week.
2 weeks with Moz.
Yeah, a week. More from the. I like the idea of proper camping. When you see the cook tent set up, how he's got it with the oven and everything, because knowing you can't move, it's not like if the fish starts showing somewhere you're moving.
Exactly.
You are where you are. You can't
camp,
move,
aren't you?
so you may as well take the kitchen sink literally.
Exactly. Yeah.
And whilst I wouldn't want that to be my regular fishing, I like the idea of doing that, because when I went there years ago, we didn't have separate tents or anything. We just went fishing how we'd normally go fishing. You know, we had a little single gas burner and just cooked how you would normally do. So I wouldn't mind going like that. The reason I didn't ever want to go back was I like to relax if I'm going on holiday.
Yeah.
And that was the most intense fishing. Every single bleep you were shitting yourself that it was a bite, because you're fishing locked up on braid.
I think Lockie described it best to us one session, and he said it's like sitting in your front room peacefully watching a TV programme and someone throwing a house brick through your front window. And you know what? Very true words.
Certain swims, but there's other swims like where it's a little bit more chilled, a bit more relaxed.
What about you, Scott? Will you go back? Are you hoping to go back, or are you booked to go back?
I don't know. Look, when I look back and think of it, and when these boys are out there and they send me updates or give me a little WhatsApp video call or something, and I just think, I do miss it.
Yeah.
But then again, it's harder for me to get 2-week trips these days. And I don't think I go for a week. You know, yes, it's great, but when you've done something for 2 weeks quite a few times, and you know the benefits of being there for a longer period of time, and you just feel more settled and a bit more relaxed and stuff like that, then I don't think I could go for a week.
I like the idea of like with holidays going somewhere different as well. Like our personal family holidays we do, we've only ever gone to the same place once before, which was Australia.
It's quite a big place, though, isn't it?
Yeah. But normally we would always want to go to a different country, see different things, you know, and you get different people in life, don't you? You've got somebody who's been going to the same resort in Malaga or whatever for like 25 years. We've been going to that same hotel, and I've got my sunbed and I do the same thing. And I think that sounds boring as fuck to me, that repetition. Yeah. But it floats loads of people's boats.
Yeah, exactly.
And for me, like if you go to the same lake on holiday every year, it can get a bit like if you just repeat in the same process, albeit it's a process that's obviously very enjoyable to the people who do it. Yeah. I also love like going on a new lake, a new adventure. Like I've come back from Spain, absolutely buzzing for the big water fishing. I've booked straight away ferries to go to the south of France in June, and I'm going to go and fish another massive water in the south of France in June. And other than watching like free YouTube vlogs of somebody fishing there, I don't know anything about it. Luckily, I'm going to go with somebody whose free vlogs I've watched, so so they know the lake well. But for me, that whole, if I was going to the same venue every year, it would be, I'd be able to get all my kit ready with my eyes closed, because it's like I know exactly what I need. Everything's there. It's all in the. It's all. I
know my rigs. I know me bait.
Yeah. All my kit is there. Whereas with this, I am literally. I've got notes on my phone every day or two. Something's popping into my head. Oh, I need that. And I'm making this now. It's like that whole excitement, and I can guarantee I'm still going to turn up and have loads of stuff not like that I don't need, and a load of stuff that I do need I haven't got.
Odd-looking PVA stocks and things like that.
Get it out there. But you know, like I'm thinking. My mind's excited about it. Whereas I think if I was going to the same place every year, I wouldn't. You'd be excited, but it'd be a different type of excitement.
Yeah, your buzz is heightened when you've got somewhere new.
Something I just think like that. Yeah, like that. Yeah, I don't know. Everybody's different, aren't they? Like some people want to go on a package holiday where literally you don't have to think. You know, you turn around, somebody puts a drink on your table, and your food's all done, and whatever. And other people want to go backpacking in a jungle
or mix it up.
Yeah,
or mix it up.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's it's a bit
for me. Obviously, Lou's a lot younger than I am, and I think where I'm at is the reason. Well, one, I think the holiday aspect of Rainbow is brilliant. Because like Lou's very accurately described and experienced, you can't stress about the guys next door or where the fish are. They're your cards. You've been, deal with them. And I like that aspect of it because it's a complete relax, and it's a different style of fishing that, in my small world that I've experienced in other places. Obviously, I've done the Croatia thing. But for me, if I've not got the opportunity, not saying I'm going to catch them, I have to have the opportunity to catch a big one, 70 pluser.
That's your buzz.
Without sounding arrogant, I ain't going to go. I'm not that fussed about sat in front of a mountain with snow on it, catching a cricket bat common, smiling in front of a rusty park bench.
What did you say? It's a waste of diesel.
I'm not bothered. I'd rather not go. Or swinging out of a tree, catching one on floating crust from a parklet. I'm not a scaly banger. I am not bothered. It doesn't tick my box.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd rather watch it on TV. I like the buzz of having the opportunity to catch a big one, whether it's UK or Europe. Otherwise, I'm not going. I speak to some of the match lads here. It's like Sean Little, fantastic match angler, but unless he's competing, he doesn't go.
No, don't fish for fun.
He just
testing product or
he really enjoys that competitive environment within match fishing. Not saying mine's a competitive environment.
No.
I'm just saying my buzz
is
knowing, even if I'm sat there for 10 days blanking, it takes 5 minutes to catch a big one.
True. Yeah, that one
and
bite
if
can
I've got
change
that
everything.
opportunity, I will fight to the death to try and get it. And I won't give up because I've got the opportunity of a big one. If there's not a big one in there, then I'd be in LEW'S playground. I'd be bored.
Yeah.
I have to have the opportunity of a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to have that as a realistic thing. Like this place I'm going to, well, when I went to Spain, there was, I think, 15 known 30 kilo fish in there. But in 14,000 acres, just chances of catching one's fucking very unlikely. But they're there, and there's that chance. Every time that bite alarm goes, until you see it in the net,
I'm with you.
It could be that. And that's for me, like, it has to be like short. If somebody said, right, you're going to drive all the way to the south of France, and you might, if you're lucky, you might catch a scrape of 40.
Waste of diesel.
Yeah, you've driven past numerous of them to get there for what reason?
But if that's what one of people do, crack on. But I'm just trying, without coming across as a knob. That's what floats my boat. That's what I like to do.
Yeah, do what you want. Do what you like to do. Whatever creates your own buzz in it, and that's that.
Exactly. And to me, it's that filling the unlucky mat and struggling to hold something.
I like the sound of that. Fair play. Well, Mozza's there now. He's at Rainbow now. I think he's doing okay, isn't it? To be fair,
I think he had a great start.
Yeah.
Again, it comes back to what we just discussed. I think the lake's been flooded, so it was late opening, so the pressure was off the fish. I think they were quite well spread. He's got there. I think he's had 5 bites in the first 2 days. I think they just started to get the odd bite yesterday, so they pretty much had a very lean week after the first 2 or 3 days. As things settled down, if you like.
Yeah.
I've not spoke to him since. I know he's had an upper 50 common maybe, without spoiling any of his videos and stuff for what he wants to do. But I think it's fishing generally slow. But the weather's picked up this week. I think they're into the sort of the mid-20s. So
it's kicking off.
Again, try and get ahead of it. That'll probably have a positive factor on it as that water temperature comes up a couple of degrees.
Yeah.
Will you see him, or will he have left by the time you arrive?
He'll probably have left, yeah. Because you can't...
Oh, you're not to get there the night before?
No, it's literally, you get there at sort of midday on the Saturday, do a bit of shopping on the Saturday morning, and it's a bit more
Do you stop
relaxed.
over somewhere on the route, or do you do it all in one slog?
Just get on with it.
Yeah,
Just
one
a
big
day.
drive.
Yeah, days driving.
Well, we'll hear about that when he's back, because he's on the podcast next.
Oh, is he?
He's back here in 2 weeks' time, so Moz will be back telling us all about his rainbow adventures.
Hope so.
You better be catching then, because he'll be going,
Well, look, if I don't, I don't. But I might get one bite and it'll be a big, and I'd be more than happy.
Yeah.
But I've got the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, there's no doubt he's had a few nice fish. Speaking of fish, guys, it's bringing it on to our Fish of the Month competition that we run on the syndicate. Every time you go fishing, if you sort of upload your fish where you've been catching, I put the March sort of collection together to the guys, and it was pretty much unanimous, this one, which was caught by Robert Ford's son, Jensen, who is only age 11, catching a lovely 23-pound mirror. I think we all quite...
it was a
Oh,
beautiful fish, and it's good to see a youngster
It was.
enjoying catching nice fish as well.
Yeah, it was good. Caught on our Zig kits, that one was as well. Black foam with the red.
You didn't tell me it was on a Zig. Don't count on a Zig, Dean. Take it off him.
He had a good session. I think he had about 4 or 5 that, but that was sort of his pick of the bunch from the session. So being 11 years old, fair play to the man. So yeah, well done to Robert Ford and obviously his son Jensen. So you'll be winning £100 worth of Fox goodies, which will be sent out to you. Guys, if you want to enter these, you've got to be a member of the syndicate. All the competitions we run on the podcast, we do all the live draws over on the official community page at the syndicate, so make sure you remember. The link is in the comments, and I'll also put a QR code up on the bottom of your screen now. You can scan that with your phone and that will take you over there to become a member. I'll move on now to the normal competition we always run during these podcasts. So once again, if you want to get your hands on £100 worth of Fox Terminal tackle, in the comments of this YouTube video, please put what would you like to improve on your own watercraft or your own fishing, be that rigs, watercraft itself, casting. Let us know where you'd like to improve. That will enter you in the competition, and we'll be doing the draw for this live on the syndicate in about 2 weeks' time. Other than that, boys, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a good podcast.
Thanks for the invite.
Cheers, Dean.
Dean.
Cheers, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.